Hello, this is my reflections for Friday the 24th of February. So I'm just going to tell you what I did today and like how and just, the normal stuff. So today's lesson we had Liz. Unfortunately, we didn't get that much people in our class, which was both a struggle. We had like, how many people? We had like five people in our class, and it was like, where's everyone? So we couldn't really do anything. So we just did workouts and the script what we were supposed to look at today, it wasn't on Google Classroom, so we had to say, okay, let's just I don't know, do some games, and we just did that, and we ended up doing the whole like reading the whole script next lesson because no one was in, so we waited for that. But when we got to that lesson, which was at 1:30, we decided to get in a circle, get the script out, we just started reading it through. So that was good. Liz told us like what characters do you want to play whilst we read this, like just not play, but just like we're reading through his. But basically, she just said what characters you want to play, and I said the main ones I want to go for is Mark, and I did say John Tate, but I'm like, I kind of don't want to anymore, and I'll give you my reason why. But mainly Mark. If not Mark, then I will happily take either Richard or Danny, really. So the reason why I'm Mark is because that it's something new, like a character that I haven't portrayed yet. I've played a funny, serious sort of character, but I don't think I played like an arsehole character before. And my friend even said to me, I want to see you play like an arsehole for real. I was like, really? I was like, oh, that's something new. I was like, I wouldn't mind going for it really. So yeah, I'm gonna go for that, see how that turns out, and hopefully it turns out really good. And yeah, I did say John Tate because a friend of mine already said they're gonna read Mark's lines. I was like, okay, I'll just read John Tate. John Tate has some good lines in it. Like he's also portrayed as like a mean character. The only struggle I have with this guy is that you see him in the first act and then that's it. You don't hear from him again. Like I want to, actually be in it and like say more stuff, which is not a problem for me because like I back then it was hard for me to learn lines, but now I found ways to like learn my lines. So really, I was thinking to myself, I like a challenge because like it's the final year, so go ahead, throw as much as you like. So yeah, and but yeah, well, as I was saying before, I'm like the first scene, and then that's it. You just don't hear from me again. I'm like, did I just disappear? I want to like push myself a little bit more, but yeah, it's a little thing. So we read the script. It was a bit hard because on the phone it's very small, so I had to like zoom in and like look closely at the words. But other than that, it was pretty fine to me. Liz asked us some questions about like why do you think she said like why do you think Adam is doing all this stuff, and because it did say that Adam like is just hanging around with bullies, and I personally thought and I read from the character bios that he wants to try fit in. Basically he wants to fit in his friend group, and he thinks the only way to fit in is to just do whatever they say, which is mm, like that's not really good. Like you shouldn't try to prove yourself in front of other people. Like you should be happy who you are. And yeah, another person I said that it was not another person, that makes no sense, but basically he tried to impress them. I feel like he tried to impress her too much, which ends up leading to this whole situation. And you can even say that I think his name is Brad, not Brad. What's his name again? It's Brian. I have a brain for Brian. That's it, Brian. That was it, Brian. And he's sort of similar, but like it's not as bad as Adams because well, it is kind of bad. They're both on the same terms really because Brian does he wants to fit in as well, and they treat him like an idiot. Like they force him to do stuff that he doesn't want to do. For example, in the story, they put a bag over his head, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool." They say, "Brian, come here, put this bag on your face," or they just bully the kid around more or less, and he just allows it. Deep down, I know he's not happy about it. It's like, why do you treat me like this? But it's the only way for me to fit in, to actually be in this friend group, which I do believe that this till this day it still happens now. There's people now trying to get into friend groups because they just don't want to be alone, or they just want to feel left out, or they just want to be part of this big friend group. But these sort of people, probably not the best idea. We also talked about Phil and like why he's so quiet and broody bad boy. And I think it's because like everyone's in such a panic, suggesting really weird ideas and all that sort of stuff. And every time Phil speaks, it's like everyone just listens and they're just like, oh, let's just take command, which is like very weird because like they just listen to the guy. I mean, he is the leader, really. They just said that, yeah, we just look at Phil as the leader, even though he's quiet and doesn't do anything apart from eat and just that's it. One thing I was going to mention as well is that the whole situation with like Adam falling down the well. Brad, I keep saying Brad. Brian was the only one that suggested we should turn ourselves in and tell the truth. No one else was like, nah, it's fine, we can just cover it up. So, as I said before, it shows that Brian and Adam are like similar characters personally. But, what else was I going to say? I was saying Leah and Phil's relationship, we don't know if they're like actually a couple, but their just relationship in the story is kind of interesting. It shows how obsessive Leah is in the whole play, and during time, she began to get more and more obsessive until the actual final part where Phil's thinking like, you know what, he's happy there. We might as well just, because no one will know. And this is the part where Leah realized that this guy's crazy. He will actually kill an innocent person after all we've been doing, all that sort of stuff. So she starts to click, and what I like is that Phil only pays attention to the people that he mainly needs. Like, he pays attention to the strong people. For example, Kathy. I think it's Kathy, yeah. She's the one that is like, I will do anything as well. Like, she's like a female version of Phil, and she's like down to do any sort of down horrible thing just to, save herself, which is very selfish and cruel. And Phil never once listens to Leah or nothing like that. He just ignores her completely and just does whatever really, which is kind of oof. But what can you do about it? And at the end, where Phil goes to Leah, offers her a starburst, and Leah just storms off, you can tell that, well, Phil says Leah at the end, you can tell that Phil is actually like sort of hurt underneath, because even though he is the bad boy and all that sort of stuff, I feel like everyone needs someone like very sweet, or like just a sort of good side, like someone good just to talk to them. Like, you say, for instance, you're having a bad day, everyone's annoying you. You always have like your mom, dad, uncle, grandma, friends to like help you. Like, hey, it's okay. Like, we all have our bad days. Like, the past is the past, and the future is the future. There's someone like that to like calm them down. Phil lost that person, and because of that, he's more or less lost a good friend of his. So what's the point? What can he do now? Just sit there in silence and just do nothing, which kind of sucks. We also compared like how I can't remember what it was exactly. I'll send you a clip of it on my reflections, but that was more or less it. One thing which I'll say was a strength for me was understanding most of the characters more, and like not just saying that, oh, they're just bullies, because like they're each different in this whole story. They each have their own personality. One of them's very scared, one of them is being peer pressured, one of them is very heartless, one of them's over excited. And they all have their own different ones, so I understand it completely now. I understand the full context of the story. What I need to work on is probably understanding what part was it? There was one part specifically that I just didn't understand. It was a monkey part where my friend was talking about like how it's like overshadowing. But I'll send you the clip once as I said. But other than that, that's about it really. So I hope you enjoy. See you later.